Hooligans! We are back with another episode of the Hooligans League podcast. And I'm not going to lie, fantasy football kind of sucked last week. Wasn't fun. Was not fun for several of us, but we are still back. It is week 10. Week 10. What the fuck? This episode, I'm going to try to make this the shortest episode of the season. We've had a couple long ones in recent weeks. Next week will be longer than normal because it is rivalry week. So a lot to cover there. Then there's a lot of work for trade party prep. So the next couple weeks are pretty busy. So this is going to be all business. We're still going to have a little fun. So let's not waste any more time. It's time for week 10 of the Hooligans League podcast. Let's go.
Best in the business when it comes to a quarterback sneak. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
That's how it goes. All right, so yeah, we're 9 weeks down. 2 weeks till the trade party. 1 week till rivalry week. 5 weeks to the playoffs. It is flying by. Just like I'm going to try to make this episode fly by because, yeah, there's a lot going on in the next couple weeks. Celtics are on. MTV Challenge is on. It's Wednesday. So, yeah, we're gonna fly through this. And I promise this doesn't have to do with my team sucking last week. It's just, I'm getting it out early. We're getting a Wednesday drop. So, I'm on it. This is not the week. This is not a priority. Next week's a bigger week. The following week's a bigger week. This one is all business, but a lot did go down. So let's get into that.
It's time for a weekly review.
So yeah, last week was Hell Week. No matchups of the week. A lot of things on the line. And boy, did it deliver. Starting with my matchup with Chow, the lowest matchup of the week. Neither of us scored 115 points. And I fell asleep during Monday Night Football, thankfully, because I lost in overtime. Kelsey had 3 catches for 30 yards. Chow takes the lead, beats me by 0.42. It's about time my luck started to run out. Brings me to 12-6 and Chow up to 8-10. Big win for him. There's things on the line for me, but it's not that important. I did want the king bed, though. Then we had Rick versus Dick. And Dick beat him by about 16 points. We all know what happened to Rick. He's been vocal about his mistakes. He stays at 11-7, and Dick climbs up to 8-10. Once 0-8, now 8-10, 8-2 in the last 5 weeks. Dickie, get it, King. That was a huge win for you. Then we had Dan Santola versus James, the second lowest matchup of the week. Dan pulls it off. James, who has been hot lately, only scores 114 points. Dan drops 123, beats him by 9, jumps up to 8-10 as well. James stays at 12-6. Caveney had to go against Chris this week. Nobody wants to go against Chris right now. Chris once again dropped over 150. He scores 166 points. Call it 167. Beats Caveney by 44. Nobody wants to play Chris right now. And he didn't even have T. Higgins or Mike Evans. Dude's an asshole, okay? Ah, man. Your team's good. Caveney falls to 7-11 because of that. And Chris jumps up to 13-5. Then Jovi Last place team in the league. Doesn't have another good week, or has another bad week, I should say. Not that bad, though. 123, call it 124 points. Outscored a good number of teams in the league, but he went against Dan Silverman, who scored 176 points. Dark horse. Been saying it. His team is good. Loses by 50. Joe is at 4-14. Silverman jumps up to 8-10. Needed that win bad. Both of these teams did. Silverman, he's on the rise. Then we had Radler versus Andy, two battered teams. And Radler goes off. Drops nearly 160 points. Andy can't handle that. He loses by over 30. Falls to 10-6. And Radler is up to 7-11. He's on the rise. Hell week was hell for a lot of managers. And it was great for a few. And I'm jealous. I am very jealous of those few. And so the median, yeah, it hurt. It hurt a couple teams. Last week we didn't have anyone on the median. Rare occurrence. Chow, he didn't beat the median with 112 points. That's for damn sure. He goes 1-1. Dan Santola just missed the median. I think this is the second time you've just missed the median by point. What is it? 2.8 maybe? Something like that. 2.6? 0.26 you missed the median by. So you go 1-1. And then Joe V just made the median. So he goes 1-1. Huge win. He had been on a 5-week losing streak. So that was huge for him. And then Andy, even though he needed a win, didn't get it. He did beat the median with his 127 points. So shout out to you guys. I didn't come close. And oh yeah, money. Silverman gets another $20. And Chris gets 10 again. Poor Chris. Only 10. He's racking it up. These two are racking it up. And the Survivor Pool. Yay! Yay, I love this. My favorite time. Last week, Andy got eliminated because of his piss poor, pathetic performance. And who do we have this week? It's me! Oh, fun. My team fucking sucks. I don't know if they're good or bad.
And another one gone, and another one gone.
Marvin Harrison's a fucking bum. I don't have any wide receivers right now. Puka's throwing punches and getting ejected after one catch. I don't know. Kamara gets yards, no tutties. Bijan does the same. My defense can't even score points. They fucking suck, okay? You happy? My team is pathetic. My team at least was pathetic. We scored 100 points. We did that. That's the only thing we can say we did. We were the lowest scoring team of the week. I remember my team was considered a juggernaut. Woo! I haven't been like a top 4 scorer since, I don't know, a while. But I'm okay. I'm not panicking. I'm not tilted. I'm not triggered. It's just fantasy. It's all fun. I'm eliminated out of the final 4. Now we just got the 2 Dans and Rick. Who will make it to the Survivor Championship? We will find out this week. And we can't end the week without a manager of the week. We actually got 2. We got 2. It's me and Rick. We already know Rick, why he's on here. He starts DeAndre Hopkins over Worthy. He goes 2-0 instead of 0-2. Big swing for Rick if he does that. That hurts a lot. Costly mistake. little confused by why you made the decision, but you're the hula goat, so you get the benefit of the doubt always, at least for now. Me, on the other hand, my team sucked. And well, I didn't make one big bad decision like Rick did. I made multiple. I didn't do a trade with Chow because we were playing each other. I would have got the win if I did that. I could have played Watson over Coleman. Would have got the win if I did that. Could have played Rodgers over Tua. Would have got the win if I did that. And last week, I paid $3 for a defense. Talked about how I usually wouldn't do that, but I really liked who they were playing. I thought it was a set it and forget it for the next 3 weeks. Didn't really even think about it. Nope. Kansas City defense lost me the game. If I would have switched up to someone, maybe I get the win. And some of those transactions also, I think I would have survived the survivor pool as well. So another potential $50 that I might have lost out on if I would have made a different decision. So, yep. Fantasy is fun, y'all. Those are your managers of the week. Injuries. I don't think there was any like really season-ending ones, at least that I'm aware of. I know there was like bench players who did, but the ones that stood out to me was obviously Dak Prescott, Chris Olave. Dude got drilled. Who knows when he's coming back? Drake London, Joe's only performing player, gets hurt on a touchdown. And then A.J. Brown, I actually don't know what happened to him, but I did see online he's injured. And then we got 4 bye weeks this week. We got the Packers, the Browns, the Raiders, and the Seahawks. So light injury week, but we got a lot of players out. What are we doing about it?
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money.
Here comes the money. All right, Fab. We got back to spending a little bit this week. Just a little bit. Chris drops 26 Fab Dolores on Cooper Rush. He only has 2 quarterbacks, so making a move to try to get a third, at least temporarily. Andy, not Dickie, gets Khalil Herbert for $13. And then Dick, not Andy, that's annoying, gets Gesicki for $12. You guys are assholes. Caveney gets DeMarcus Robinson for $8. Andy gets Jalen Coker, I think that's his name, for $6. Hopkins gets Dotson for $3. Silverman gets Akers for $3. And Santola gets the Giants defense for $2. There was a bunch of $1 and free transactions as well, but we ain't talking about those. How did y'all do? Notice I said y'all because I didn't make a move because I'm broke. Let's see. Not great. Chris, it wasn't shit. You didn't overpay too much, only wasted $5 on Cooper Rush. Still could be a major waste if you don't end up playing him, but got to make your moves. Andy wasted $10 on Herbert. Is that right? Did I fuck up? Hold on. Hold, please. No. $8 on Herbert. Mark, do your math right. So not good. Now I'm second guessing if all of these are wrong. No, okay. Dick wasted $8 on Gesicki. Caveney only wasted $3 on Robinson. Andy also wasted $6 on Coker. You could have got him for free. Could have got him for free. Hopkins, you could have got Dotson for free. And Silverman, you could have got Akers for free. And then Santola, you wasted $1 on the defense. No big deal. Nothing too costly here. This is actually a pretty decent week for us. Hence the removal of some poop emojis. So good work. let's look where we're at for the season.
Let's look at the season standings.
And we have a new first place manager. Last week, James took first place from me. I was trying to steal it back. James was trying to protect it. We both sucked. And now Chris has leapfrogged both of us with his 13-5 record and over 1,300 points scored. Chris Centola, also known as the ambiguously gay duo, is the first place manager of the Hooligans League. He's been dominant for weeks now. So good shit, Chris. Your team's very good. You've made a lot of good moves, and I hate you for it. Let's look at the rest of the standings. Then we got James. So he falls down a spot to second. I fall down a spot to third. Rick stays at fourth. Andy stays at fifth. And Dan Centola stays at sixth. So no changes to the top six besides Chris jumping up to the top. Now, the rest of the standings, a lot has changed. So Silverman jumps up 2 spots to 8-10. He's now 7th. And he's tied with Dan Centola at 8-10. So he is right there. He's only 30 points behind 6th place right now. Chow is also 8-10. But Silverman's big week pushed Chow down to 8th. Dickey is also 8-10. Is Dickey good now? I don't know. I hope not. I play him in rivalry week. But no, he's in 9th place. He's right there. He's in playoff contention. Crazy. The comeback kid. Radler is right behind them with 7-11 record. So is Caveney, who falls 3 spots to 11th. It's tough. 0-2 weeks hurt a lot. And then Jovi did go 1-1, but he stays in 12th place with a 4-14 record. So big shakeups in the back half of the standings, which probably means trade weekend is going to be pretty epic because there are a lot of teams fighting to get in. It was looking like for a second it wasn't going to be the year of parity, but now it's starting to end up that way. Season prizes. Man, this used to be my favorite slide. Chris, now, as we mentioned, is the favorite to get the $100 number 1 seed. And then James and me are competing for the 2nd seed, and Rick is right behind us. Chris is also the favorite to win the $50 most points prize with his 1,305 points. James is 60 points behind him now. And me and Dan Centola are about 10 to 15 points behind James. Then for the Survivor Pool, we already talked about this. I'm out. It's Dan's sandwich with some Pickle Rick in the middle. And then Dan Centola is also the leader still for best week with 207.58 points. So a lot of money to be distributed over the next 5 weeks or so. And Chris and Silverman are now the highest cash earners with $50. Silverman has won his 2nd first place scorer of the week prize. Chris has won his 3rd second place prize. And I get my first worst team of the week. Fun stuff. We still have Jovi, Andy, and Dick, who have not made a penny back. Pickle Rick, how you doing? Last week you were at 64. You had a bad week. Did you panic?
I'm Pickle Rick!
No, you didn't. You only made 3 moves. You went from 64 to 67. We are trending terribly now. I am worried that we are not going to cross 100. It's a little sad. But now, let's talk week 10.
Weekly preview.
So we're doing power rankings, y'all. Power rankings. And I put a little less effort into these this week because we're going to move quickly through this. But the first team is no surprise. It's Chris. His power score just keeps getting lower and lower. He almost has a perfect power score. He got a 1, 1, 2, 1, 1. 1.2, the lowest power score we've had to date. He stays at first. But we do have a shakeup at 2. This one's going to be surprising. Silver Surfer! Now, Silverman isn't close to Chris. He has a 3.6. He's still being held back by his standings. And he's honestly held back because he was the 5th ranked team last week. But his team's hot right now. They look good. He has no weaknesses. He jumps up 3 spots, even though he's not even in the playoffs yet. Now, he has to keep winning to hold this spot. But right now, Fantasy Pros likes him. Loves him, actually. His team's hot. The kid is on the come up. He is the 2 spot. Now he's not close to Chris yet, but he has leapfrogged everybody else behind him. Next up, we got 4 teams who are just jam-packed. I stay at 3rd, which is pretty wild given how bad my team was. I'm essentially getting held up by Fantasy Pros because they love me. They have me as the 2nd best team overall. And they have me as 5th this week, which is better than some of the teams below. And I barely get 3rd over James, who falls down 2 spots. And he's really being held back by Fantasy Pros, who has him at 7th this week and 5th overall, which still confuses me. Dan Santola is actually tied with James. And he jumps up a spot, mainly because he's ranked as the 3rd best team this week and 4th overall. So he's right there. He's been a quiet killer this season. He's got a playoff spot. Fantasy Pros likes him. He might be the real dark horse now. Then we have Rick. Rick falls 2 spots after his bad decision didn't cost him in the standings, but it hurt him from last week. That's actually surprising. Rick fell 2 spots. I really don't know what that is. I guess we're all just so close. These 4 teams are so close in the power rankings that, the smallest thing can switch the order here. And I haven't started making adjustments yet. So we just went by the formula. If I did it myself, I don't think Rick would be in the 6th spot, but there's a clear 1 with Chris, a clear 2 with Dan, and then 4 teams jam-packed right around a 5.2 power score. Next up is I'm Not Andy and I'm Not Dick with a 7.4. The clear 7 and 8 teams. Andy stays flat at 7, even though he lost. He's still surviving. He's still a playoff contender. He's still ranked 5th in the standings. And Dick is kind of the opposite. He sucked. Now he's on the rise. He jumps up to the 8th spot. 9th in the standings. I think everybody's a little proud of Dick. This is why you were tier 2. I was questioning it at the beginning of the season, and you are fucking proving it. I still don't love your handcuff strategy you got going on, but man, you're proving to me why you have 2 championships and I have 0. So I can't really talk shit anymore. 9 is Caveney. He falls down a spot. Yeah, he's the 8th highest scorer last week. He's in 11th in the league. He doesn't really have anything going for him too good, but he's still better than the teams below him, which is Chow, who just snuck a victory against me, I think, as the 2nd lowest scorer in the league. Fantasy Pros still likes him, though. 7th overall for rest of season, and he's 8th in the standings. So he probably doesn't belong with these other 2 teams. But that's what the math is saying. So sorry, Chow. You're the 10. You stay there. You don't move. Jovi, you're also a 9.6 power score. You stay in 11th and you don't move. And Radler, you also have a 9.6 power score. All three of you are right there. You all have some issues, but you all have some things that give some hope. Radler, you scored the third most points in the league last week. Jovi, your team finally did what they were supposed to do. You were the 6th highest scoring team in the league. Now, it does look like you three are, or really Jovi and Radler are competing for last. So you really need to turn it on right now. Radler, keep stacking up wins and leave Jovi in the dust. Jovi, it's time to do whatever you need to do to climb the standings. So these are the power rankings. Not too many shakeups, actually, when you look at it, but some very clear tiers. Man, I don't know how I'm third right now. And here are the numbers. Here's the math. Look at it if you're interested. All right, so let's talk week 10. Again, no matchups of the week. This is just like such high pressure time that I didn't feel like it would be fair. Oh, the Celtics are down 9? What the fuck? To highlight any matchups over the other ones. I'm going to go in against Jovi. He desperately needs a win. I feel like I desperately need a win after last week's performance, and I'm trying to get at least one of the top 2 seeds. So I need a win bad there as well. Rick and Radler are both 11-7 and 7-11. They each need wins. It's not looking good for Radler right now with a 30% chance, but he's a fighter. Dan Santola versus brother Chris, who's been super hot right now. If Santola goes 0-2, he might fall out of the playoff standings. And if Chris goes 2-0, he might lock up the king bed. Actually, he could potentially lock up the king bed this week, I think, if things fall into place. Man, Dan, you got to beat Chris. Okay, please. Then we have Caveney, 7-11 versus Silverman, 8-10, both trying to steal that playoff spot from Dan. Right there. Big week. Dan's hot right now. Cannot afford an 0-2 week. Neither can Caveney. Then we got James versus Dick. Dick, he's on the come up. James just lost his first place title. Will Dickie's run continue? Will James steal it back from Chris? Who knows? We'll find out this week. And then last up, we have Andy Hawk versus Chow. Andy's 10-8, Chow's 8-10. Andy's kind of sliding a little bit. Chow is just up and down all year. They both need a win. Bad. They at least need a 1-1 week. But really, each of them, they need a 2-0 to protect themselves. So those are the matchups. Some house. Not really going to talk homework, all right, this week. But the trade party is 15 days away. Okay. I said I'm going to make this episode quick because we got shit to talk about next week. I'm going to go into all of this next week. But just to review, there are some homework assignments out there. Silverman, get the fucking simulator. Someone, get it from Sean. Someone needs to sign up for food duty. If nobody volunteers, I will figure out a lottery system where one or two people get assigned to do it. And I'll tell you right now, it won't be Andy and Joe because they did it last year, and it won't be me because I do a shit ton. And I might not even include Radler because he got the house. So And actually, now that I think about it, Silverman is riding with me, so I might not include Dan. Just get some volunteers so I don't have to figure this out. Also, somebody get Zins. I thought I read online that flavored Zin wasn't in New Hampshire. Can someone at least confirm for me that it is in New Hampshire, if that's the case? So we need some volunteers. Step up or commish. We'll assign things. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. That is all. That's week 9 into week 10. Rivalry week next week. It's a fun time to be a hooligan. And good luck with your matchups this week. Do not make a costly decision. All right. So this is it. Episode on Wednesday. Enjoy. Peace out.